Hello, hello, hello. We are back with another episode of the Jane Warren podcast. And I know that I always say this to you. I say, I have the most amazing guest. I have the most amazing guest. You're going to love her. But listen up. I have a guest today that we met in,
Great.
I don't even know a grade five. Okay, she just told me grade five. We met in grade five. Her name is Alyssa Beltempo. She is a complete boss. I have watched her over, I don't know, the last many, many years completely build this insane looking business, take over this like slow fashion world. Listen, I mean, I'm gonna boast about her. She's got like 270K subscribers on YouTube. Hello, like this woman, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And I was like, why have I not asked her to be on my freaking podcast? So today, Alyssa's here and we are going to be talking, well, she's going to be talking mostly about the connection between your personal style and mindset and self-worth and belief. So she really, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited, Alyssa. Thank you for being here.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. I likewise, like, what an intro. I can't believe it. I don't know if, anyway, so thank you. Thank you. I'm practicing saying thank you and
Yes,
just
receive it.
receiving. Yeah.
Receive it,
We
girl.
are on the
Today is the
same
day to
page.
receive. We literally
100%.
spent the last like 30 minutes just catching up because it's been so long since we were like, what are you up to? What are you up to? But here, we're going to cut to the chase, everyone. So, firstly, if you're new to the Jane Moran podcast, I'm so grateful you're here. If you're returning, you know I absolutely love you. And we are so grateful you're taking time out of your day to truly better yourself, better your mind. So, Alyssa, why don't you first introduce yourself a little bit more? And as well, let's start with sharing some of your story because I'm not gonna lie, like I was like, whoa, when I started seeing what you were creating, I was like, this is really cool. And I have no idea what got you from where you were before, you know what I mean, to where you are today.
Okay, this is such a good question. I'm gonna try and keep it not so wordy, but I am a little wordy. So please, like
Go for it. Don't
you'll
worry about
edit
it.
this. This will be great. Okay, so I actually started with the finance, career in finance, was working there for 2 years. Maybe more, actually, like 5 years if you count as a student, whatever. So I realized that that really wasn't my jam. Getting dressed was like the most exciting part of my day. I always wanted to own a boutique. So I was like, let me go and work for a boutique. Actually, it was my ex-husband who was like, Alyssa, you've never even worked retail. Like, why don't you try it first? I was like, okay, good idea. Left, worked at a boutique. That's where I learned a lot about dressing women, what quality looks like, because it was like a high-end boutique. So I was really able to like learn there. Realized though that managing a boutique wasn't for me. And I was very lucky that I had the space of about a year to kind of like it took less than a year to kind of get on my feet, and I started just doing freelance writing, but also I started doing freelance wardrobe styling, which um is like not the most glamorous thing. It wasn't for editorials or anything like that. It was for like the government of Canada and like marketing agencies, and like Jane, you've been on the other end of this, I think, but like like you're pulling clothes, you're in malls on your feet for hours pulling things, and the outfits that you're pulling are like, I don't know, trousers and a button-up
Yeah.
shirt, for some suburban dad and the whatever. So it wasn't glamorous, but that's where I learned so much about just, again, dressing people, but really working with what you've already got, because you only bring a certain amount of clothes on set. And you like, if the client is like, oh, we wanted purple instead of green, you're like, okay, this is what's
That would
gonna
have been good
happen.
to know.
Right. Yeah. And like you literally work with what you have. So that was a really, really great experience. And then I got a couple of really great contracts with shopping malls, and I started working with individual clients. And through that experience, I really started to understand that there is like an inverse relationship between the satisfaction with people's own personal style and the size of their closets. And I recognize that like it doesn't matter how many clothes this person has, if they have a huge budget, if their clothes are on trend, it really didn't matter. There was still, on the other end of it, people were still so unhappy. And so there was that kind of piece, which was always in my mind. And I was like, okay, like there's something like deeper going on here, which I know that anyway, we'll get to that maybe in a minute, which is why I love your work. And then at the same time, there were a few lifestyle changes happening on my end. So I had left a finance job for to go freelance and work retail. So my finances were cut in half. And my husband at the time and I had moved from like a townhouse sized home into a tiny condo. So my finances and my physical space for my clothing were so limited. And all of this while I was learning about styling and dressing people and quality and all these things. And at the time, the bank where I had worked at had asked me to come in and do a presentation for their like green week and like how do you dress in a more eco-friendly way. And this was like back in 2014, 2013 when sustainable fashion, quote unquote, was like not a thing really. Like it wasn't popular, it wasn't cool, no one was talking about it. But that was like the launching point for me, maybe 2013, maybe closer to 2014. And that's when I realized also that the narrative around sustainable fashion was really unfriendly and not accessible. It was shaming and blaming the customer for the choices that maybe they didn't have control over. And also just aesthetically, it was like not everybody wants to wear a pair of like red onion skinned dyed hemp pants. Like I use this example all the time, but I swear, like it's just the way it is. So I thought nobody's approaching this from an accessible or like a fun and happy narrative. And ultimately, we all know this, that people are so, as humans, it's normal to be selfish and to value things that have an immediate benefit to us. And I thought that there was a big gap in the sense that like sustainable fashion is so important and the mind, but it's a mindset switch. You can't just tell people to buy less but better. You can't just tell people to buy the ethically made pants or whatever. It's an entire mindset shift. So that's when I started I started kind of changing the work that I did very slowly because I was like, no one's gonna pay me to convince people to not shop, right? Like, no, this just doesn't exist. We live in capitalism, so it's
You're
not
like, go
happening.
through your closet, stop
Yeah,
buying things.
yeah, right. Like, so I was like, wait, like maybe we can. And I had these styling skills, so I was like, no one's really approaching this from the lens of like, why don't we just use what we have? Like, why do we make it fun? So I was doing TV appearances at the time and like, talking about trends and new clothes. And as soon as I was like, no, I want to talk about buying less, they were like, bye. So I was like, well, if no one's going to listen to me on TV, then like I might as well start a YouTube channel. And that's when I guess people were interested. And the YouTube channel is what really allowed me to. And so I started the YouTube channel in 2017. And it was at that point that slowly over time, I think it took between 2017 and 2020. So until the pandemic, finally, I was able to let all of my freelance wardrobe styling clients go and really focus on content creation and education. So now I have the YouTube channel. So content creation is like the biggest piece of what I do, always through the lens of like styling what you have, education, getting excited about making slow fashion as a mindset and not something that you can purchase. And Right. And we also have live workshops, which are really fun, where we shop your closet, where we like apply stuff that I talk about on the channel. I have a membership community, which is just this amazing group of people. They're like so smart and cool. And we do these challenges, again, always centered around how to use what you have. How do you get creative within limitations? Because I truly believe that creativity is like born out of being limited in certain ways, right? Like it's the ultimate playing ground. So we have the community, we have our live workshops, content, and I also do one-on-one virtual styling. So, oh, and I'll also I'll speak if corporations or whatever do like live workshops as well. And that's it. But I should say as like
That's
a segue, I
it.
guess. That's no, but like it's crazy. So, and I should say though that now I think my audience is so smart and has been thinking about this for so long that we're getting a little bit deeper from just knowing how to style what we already have to like really getting into knowing who we are. Because I think slow fashion, like you and I were saying this earlier, Jane, like you can buy the most sustainable quote unquote item, but if you don't have the confidence to wear it, if you don't know, if that doesn't even align with who you are from the inside, then you're not going to wear it, and it's going to be wasteful on both ends. It's going to take up real estate in the closet and make you angry every morning because you don't have anything to wear, quote unquote, and it's just a wasteful use of resources. So that's
I
where I'm
love
at.
this though. No, this is amazing. And it resonates so much because so I live on the main floor of a house, and the main floor was converted into like an apartment. So
Great.
basically my bedroom would be like where maybe a living room would be or something, you know. So when I guess due to space, they opted not to build a closet. So when I moved in, they were like, oh, by the way, there's no closet. Fortunately for me, all I had was a backpack because I was coming from traveling. So I said to them, I'm like, I literally just came from 2.5 years of traveling. All my clothes fits in a backpack. So I'll get like a clothing rack. So I live off my clothing rack. Now I have to say it's like spring, summer, then rotate winter, fall. Like it's
Right.
to fit everything on. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably could, to be honest, but you know what I mean? It's like, so it's
Yeah.
not so jammed. But yeah, I live off of that, and I'm
I love
savage.
this.
I'm savage with getting rid of things. Like I've always been like this, so I have no problem
Yeah.
like releasing
Letting
things. I love
go.
it. So every season I'll like when I flip it over, I'm like, oh, I never wore that. I didn't wear that. You know, I get rid of things. I'm always
Yeah.
like donating them. And then it's
Right.
kind of like, well, if I want to get something new, I'm very selective on like,
Right.
I'm not an overconsumer. I think traveling did that to me. I realized I had so much shit in my bag that I'd never even wore. But my
Wow.
bag was my life because that's all I got rid of everything else when I left. So I'm like, this is all I have. So I like kept a lot of things, but then I noticed over the 2 years, there's things I never even wore. And
Okay.
I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I don't need that. But I'd love for you to touch on. So I know there's like obviously emotional connections to like how we feel in clothing and so forth.
Yeah.
Before we dive into that, as you transitioned from finance into having your own business and all these various stages of your business, did you face any fears and stuff along the way? Like, how
You
were you
know,
feeling doing this?
oh, that's such a good question. I didn't at the time. Maybe because you're like when you're young, you're like fearless.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had, to be honest, I'm more scared now. And maybe I shouldn't even put that out into the universe, to be honest.
No, that's all
I
right.
do still
Today is
trust,
the
the
Lionsgate. You're going to
release.
release it. Don't
You're right.
worry.
I'm releasing it. I'm releasing it. Thank you. Um, I think because I have people that I have an assistant. I like pay people now. So there's a bit more pressure. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm supporting myself, which before I had my husband at the time was just so supportive, like so supportive. So I didn't have any fear. I knew I had a safety net. And even like even when it was difficult, there were definitely difficult times. I was both very, sorry, I was both, it's nice when you have a partner who gives you that support.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it never occurred to me that things wouldn't work out in a sense. Also, I think it helped that I didn't have a super, I didn't know where I was going at the time. I didn't
Yeah.
have a vision. I didn't have a plan. All I knew, like it was literally one step at a time. So yeah, I didn't know. Like I said, when I started the channel, I was like, I'm gonna keep all my freelance wardrobe styling clients. I'm gonna keep all my whatever I can because this isn't gonna make me any money.
Mm-hmm.
So no, no, I think it was just blind. I don't know. Probably delusion. I told someone else the other day. They were like, "Oh, entrepreneurs, they're so brave. They're so this." I was like, "No, no, we're just
No.
delusional. We're
Yes.
delusional.
Yes.
100%." You know?
I
Because I
thought
was in
I
my
fully
like,
believe in that.
right? Like in my head, I was like, "You know what? I don't care. Like I have my clients. I'm good. And as long as my idea, and it still is, I remember it was like, if I convince one person to shop their closet first instead of going out and buying something at their nearest fast fashion, then like, I'm great, I'm done. What an amazing, well done you. You know what I mean? So,
No,
so and I
that's
have to say, Jane, I'm so impressed with your minimal slow fashion. And I know because you have these really great like wing like fet
oh,
earrings that you
they're
wear.
like a
Oh,
signature. Do you know,
so
okay,
good.
can
You've
I
had them
tell
for
you though?
years.
Since
Like since uni.
2008, like
Okay.
I got them when I moved, just after I moved to Toronto, and
Okay.
took a business trip. Actually, oddly enough, this is funny because I took a business trip to the UK, and I had never been in a Top Shop, which, fast fashion,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I'd never been in Top Shop, but I saw these earrings. So I bought myself a pair, and I bought two other pairs for two of my friends. I don't know if they still have theirs, but yeah, it just became, with how crazy that is. They're like my guardian angels. Like
Oh, I love
I've
this.
had them since 2008. They were like tarnished from touching them. They were a $10
Amazing.
earring.
Oh,
They are my signature. Like
I love this.
if it were ever to break, I'd go get them fixed somewhere
Yeah, yeah.
because like I've never left them anywhere. It's like if I went somewhere and they'd be in my purse, like it didn't
Yeah.
matter. They have followed me, and yeah, I love
I
them.
love
But I
this.
am very much like I do not
Mm,
overconsume.
I
I'm just like,
love
I don't
this.
need it. I don't like clutter. I don't like any of that shit. But I think what's key and for me is like, if you have an organized closet, you
Yeah.
have order in your mind. If your
Mm-hmm.
space is orderly, it
Yeah.
creates order in your mind. So if your space is not orderly, that's going to
Yeah.
create chaos and
Yeah.
it's not going to create a calm state of mind.
Yeah.
So that's key. Let's
Yeah.
talk a bit now on like these feelings and
Mhm.
when you are working with your clients and how you started to see like, okay, there's more to this than just let's get you to shop your closet. Okay, we narrowed it down. You got all your
Yeah.
great pieces. We got all this,
Yeah.
but there's still like you can tell there's something in them that's not quite feeling like as happy as they could be.
Yes. Yeah. So this is what I learned. And I think we all struggle with this often, or a lot of us. But the biggest thing that I've noticed was that so many of us, I think particularly women, we struggle with feeling like we are allowed to take up space, whether it's just in our personalities or in what we wear. And it's kind of like we question whether we are worthy of taking time to dress ourselves in a way that we love. Even just playing dress up in your closet, which is such a key part of slow fashion and being able to be creative. Like a lot of it is time, and a lot of us don't feel like we can give ourselves that gift and privilege of just taking time for ourselves. So a lot of it is like, well, a question I ask my clients often is less about, well, how do you want to look? It's more, how do you want to feel? Like, how does this piece make you feel? And I think in order to answer those questions, you need to know how you want to feel, that you are allowed to feel good and confident.
Mm.
Um, and a lot of us just have these blocks. Uh, and so it's kind of like at the same time as you find your personal style, you're also, I think it goes hand in hand with discovering not only who you are, but what like your worth and your value, which, like I said, like this has been something that I literally only discovered maybe 2, 3 years ago, I would say. And so now it's like you can like really get into it. And I'm not a coach. I'm not so there's obviously, but like I can help you with your clothes. But we were saying this earlier, like I could tell someone what to wear or like this looks good on you, whatever. But if you don't feel it, if you don't feel like you want to take up space, or if you don't know your own worth, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're gonna always stop yourself from feeling good in what you have. You're always gonna have the super loud self-critic, like, oh, this makes you look this, or this makes you look that, or oh, no one's wearing this anymore, so you shouldn't be wearing it. And it's like, I think when you develop this sense of who you are, you're kind of just like, fuck this. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna wear it
Yes.
anyway.
That's
But
like
it's
how I
oh
feel with my
yeah,
clothes too. And I feel
so good.
I hear it with what my friends, like some of my friends say. Like they'll say, oh, I have terrible fashion sense. Like
Mm.
or I'm wearing this and I'm like, oh my God, it looks so cute. It's like, oh, but like blah, 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 or I
Yeah.
don't even think anyone's wearing this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
and that is just, yeah. And do you, okay, two questions that came to my mind when you were
Yeah.
talking about that. Would you say that when you're working with your clients, okay, two things, and we'll address each one, but
Hmm.
do you think that the clothes that they have in their closet is holding them back?
Whoa, that's a really good question. I think in some cases, yes. Yes. In the cases where people are holding on to things that maybe represent a part of them that they no longer identify with or that they want to let go, but they can't because it's a security and it's a safety and it's a comfort. And because letting go of these items represent change, which is really scary. So in that, and if you think about it, if you're opening your closet, and like you said, like when you have order, it's a calm mind. And I fully agree with this. And it doesn't, this is like, it has nothing to do with the amount of clothes that you have. You can have a big closet, but if you can see everything, and if everything is a representation of who you truly are and how you like to feel on the regular and how you want to show up in the world, then that's the magic. And it's not, I think what's also, so there's that where these clothes are, and if you think about it, when you open your closet, if you're seeing clothing that reminds you of a past self that you would like to shed, or that is simply reminding you, like the worst is not the worst, sorry. It's very difficult to hear clients say, oh, well, these are my jeans for when I lose 10
Oh my God.
pounds.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to be like, let's talk about my skinny jeans, like my
Yeah.
skinny pants.
Yeah.
Carry on. Yeah.
Like, how
A constant
frustrating is
reminder of
that?
that
A
you're not
constant,
that
yes.
size anymore. And it's
Yeah.
also like, but you worded it perfect that the mind doesn't like change. People don't like change. So the reason I've seen, even with when I was in health and wellness, right? Holding
Yeah.
on to clothes, they're just like, I just want to fit into this yellow dress. I just want to fit into these jeans I had, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but why not focus on loving yourself as you are today? But the thing is, I feel that women will hold on to that clothes because it's like, that was like a glory time for them. That was like a time where they
That
think,
too.
oh, but I was
Yeah.
smaller, I was skinnier. And if I just get back to that, I'm going to be happy.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, but the journey to get back there, I mean, it's going to take work. It's going to be challenging. And it's also like, what, like you not being able to release that. They don't want to accept the fact that now, and most women won't even buy pants that'll fit them now because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm my heaviest right now. They don't want to accept where they're at today.
Right.
And so they just are like, well, I'd rather just like wait until I lose weight to fit into those things. And I'm just like, I say to people, I'm like, I couldn't even tell you what my exact size is
Yeah. Yeah.
because I just buy clothes that fits.
Yes.
So, like I could be shopping someplace, I could be this, I could be that. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
So long as it fits and I feel good in it, that's like
Mm-hmm.
my
Key.
guide.
Yes. And that's such a great point that you bring up because I think there were a couple things. I hope I don't forget. Right. Okay. I'm going to try and remember the first one because the second one. Um, this is why I always tell people to shop based, like always know your own measurements. Like always have a
Mhm.
soft tape with you, always know how much you measure. But because first of all, there's way too many brand sizing is no longer universal. It makes
No,
no sense. There's
no.
vanity sizing. There's like double
The
zeros.
Gap.
Like,
Like
excuse
I'm
me,
like
like
a
what do you
double
not
zero at the
exist?
Gap.
Yeah.
Like literally, I bought pants from like American Eagle, and it was funny because they were like a zero, and I was like, and then here I am trying on like Levi's that are 27 and they don't
Right.
fit. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm like, what is a zero? Like, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it when I put them on, and I was like, okay, vanity sizing. I was like, I
Yeah.
feel great.
Yeah, right. And so this is it. And brands do this on purpose. Like so many brands, because they're trying to cut corners now, aren't even using fit models anymore. So it's like, we can't, don't attach
No.
yourself. And this is like a whole other piece of like, don't attach your worth to external values, which I'm sure you could get into really, really well. But like the other part that I thought was interesting, that I wanted to jump off of what you said was the journey to get back or the journey to get to a certain place. And I think this is like a parallel between your mindset and also your closet in that your personal style, you will never get the perfect wardrobe. You will never have the
Mm-mm.
perfect closet. You will never have we are human. We are constantly evolving. We are constantly changing. There will never be a place where your wardrobe is everything you want it to be. It would be nice. And like, yes, often, like, I love pretty much everything in my closet, but there are still pieces in there that I'm like, okay, maybe I can let go with it. Da, 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 da. But this is the beauty. This is the beauty of it that you can change and that you can, because if you constantly strive for this like perfect end goal, then you're just going to be miserable all the time. You're like,
For sure. And I love that you said when you look at if you're looking at your closet, like if you're to open up your closet or look at my clothing rack, it's like, this is something that listeners, you can do right now. Like, how does your closet make you feel? Like, if you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a mess, or, start doing something about this because you deserve to feel good. And I love, like, I think about more recently in the last few months, I bought a power suit. And
nice.
I wanted a beautiful suit. It was time. I had been imagining like this like cream colored suit. I imagine many, but like one of which like a real like cream warm colored suit. And I was like, okay, I need to go shopping. Like I need to go look. I shopped all around, went to a whole bunch of different stores, lock in on one, like get exceptional customer service, get exactly what I want. I have it hanging so I can see it. Like
Yeah.
I had it hanging actually for a while on the back of my door because
Mm,
I could see it from my bed.
I love
And
that.
then I have it hanging right in the front of my clothing rack. It does have a bag over it just to keep it like not
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
dusty. You
totally.
know what I mean?
Got it.
But
Great.
the
Yes.
bag is clear, so I can
Yeah.
see it.
Okay. You can still see
And
it.
but
Great.
I look at it and it's like literally every day. Like it's a
Yeah.
reminder. And when I wear it, like it's just like I feel like a boss.
I
Everyone
love it.
thinks I'm a boss. Like it's just like, it's just really, but I don't care what people think, but like inevitably they're like, holy shit, like this suit is powerful. And I'm like, I wore it to a workshop. What's hilarious is it was an in-person workshop. They were having, I didn't know, a beach Hawaiian theme day. So everyone's in like freaking summer beach clothes. I rock up with this
Love it.
three-piece like
Uh,
suit, feeling like so good. But that's it. Like clothes should make you feel good.
mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it
100%.
should. So let's talk now about, all right. People are like, okay, so I should start like shopping my closet. What are
Mhm.
some of the first steps that you do with your clients? Okay, someone's like, all right, this is inspiring me today. I need to get
Mm.
rid of some shit. I need to organize myself. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
What are some of the steps that someone can start to take?
Right. So, yeah, I liked how you were like, okay, if you're at home right now and you're listening, do something about it. I think the first thing is to give yourself a closet audit. Um, I'm not a huge believer in like these giant declutters right away. I think much like you, like it's all about moderation, right? So it's kind of like the goal is almost to become like your own editor, where you are constantly curating. You are, adding
Mm.
as needed, decluttering as needed, so that it's a fluid part of your life. It's not this giant mountain of a thing that you don't want to do on a Sunday in the fall. You know what I mean? So the first thing is to give yourself an audit, go through everything, which takes a while, or like do it in chunks, right? Like for people who have like a whole separate room full of clothes, like take it one section at a time, whether it's one season at a time, or do all your pants or all your sweaters. Like just do it piece by piece, like there's no rush. So go through these things, and I think you inherently know sort of what can be let go. So I would say, like, what are all the things that just no longer appeal to you, no longer fit, cannot be altered, the things that you haven't worn in years and years and years. And I'm not talking about like the occasion wear that might actually come in handy. Like, I'm also not someone who's like, oh, if you haven't worn it for 2 years, let it go. Because like, what if you have to go to a funeral? What if you have to go to like this crazy thing and you have that one dress that you can just pull out
Yeah.
over and over again, right? Like
It's like, how
So it,
many white V-neck t-shirts do you need?
yes. Yeah. Like,
How many
you
did you have
know,
growing up?
oh my God. Well, okay. Okay. You know me. I had a bunch. That was like all I wore. Okay. I only have two now. But
Okay,
like,
okay,
it's
okay.
like all I
You're
wore.
like, and they're linen, okay?
Yeah, I got linen. But that's it. So like go through, and I think you know. So like at least if you can cull like a little bit, this is if your closet is feeling messy and disorganized. Um, and so it's really about seeing everything. And if you can't if you can't do a solid declutter, if you don't want to let go of a piece, at least get it out of your line of sight and your vision so that you're only looking at the clothes that are wearable. I know with size privilege, like it can be very difficult if size isn't like if there are sizes that aren't accessible to you, sometimes it's a matter of like, well, this is what fits right now. And I fully get this and appreciate this. So those are pieces that you can keep as well because we can't walk around naked and we need like we all have to wear clothes, right?
Yeah.
So wear what fits, what feels good as much as possible, have that hanging. And then with those pieces, I would divide them if you can into like your go-tos, your 100% yes, like this is full body, like I love this, da da da. Have that. And then also give yourself that margin of like your maybe items. Like this is a maybe. I don't know
Mm.
why. I'm lukewarm about it. Da da da. And I would, if you're just starting, I would keep your maybe items prominent on a rack. Close to your 100% yeses so that you can try integrating these maybes with your yeses. I think a lot of us will see these maybes and be like, you get intimidated by them. And it could be because they're not your vibe. They're not like a silhouette that you're used to. They have all these elements that you're not used to. But if you pair them with items that like are your go-tos, like for me, it would be like a white V-neck tee. If I had a pair of like wild printed pants, that's what I would pair them with. So you're
Yeah.
still feeling like yourself, like you're not deviating too much from who you are, but you get to experiment. So the maybes, and then I think over time, so then you have to give yourself like a solid season, like 3 to 6 months of time. Try not to shop, try not to add anything new, and just work with your maybes and your yeses, your 100% yeses. And then what the next big step over this period of time, if you can document it, it's okay. I don't expect everyone to like write things down, but pay attention not to the clothes you like, not like I like button-up shirts or I like whatever. It's more pay attention to the elements of style. And this is something that this is like the crux of what I talk about a lot is like switching the way you see clothing from like I love blazers to I love structured pieces. I love structured
Mm.
pieces because they make me feel authoritative. Like you said, like you feel like a boss when you wear your suit, your power suit. Not everyone feels like a boss when they're in a power suit though, right? Like I'm the same.
Mhm.
I love when I wear a blazer, I'm like another woman. I can't wear blazers too often because I think people will like run into the hills. They'll be like, "Oh, she get her out of here." She
I
like
love when
needs
I wore
blazers.
one for like I
Oh,
was doing some trainings, like recordings, and I wore one for an IG live, and literally the woman shows up. She's like, "Whoa, all right, you are in
right?
a suit today." She was like, "You're ready to roll,"
Right?
and I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yep. Yeah. So some people might feel boss in like, I don't know, something flowy and fluid.
Yeah.
So you have to through that 3 to 6 month period when you're look at your yeses, like look at them daily and be like, what is it that I love about this? What is it? Why do I like it? Is it the bright color? And it's not, oh, I love bright yellow. No, no, no. Maybe I like cheerful, deeply saturated hues. Those make me happy. Do you know what I mean? So you
Hmm.
have to start switching your brain. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But what I
No, I
find
am. You're
works,
already
right?
shifting my
Well,
mindset. I like can't wait to go to my closet. I
right.
already
I know.
imagine
Well,
seeing
you're
things.
so
I'm like,
creative already, right? Like you're so creative already. You'll probably come up with like a whole new bunch of different ways to wear what you've got. And also equally, don't discount your declutter pile. Like your nose, look at those two before you let go of them and be like, what are the elements that I don't like? The scratchy
hmm.
fabric, the flowy silhouettes. I don't feel like myself in those. I feel a bit like a blob or a prairie princess. Some people look bomb in prairie princess. Like I wish I was one of those people. I do not. But like, do you know what I mean? So switching your mindset from seeing your closet as a bunch of clothes or a bunch of just stuff, from these elements of style, will make your closet become a tool, will make your closet like it's a tool. It's like a paintbrush that you can just, now you can express yourself in a way that feels really authentic, because you're not going by what you saw on a mannequin or what you saw on Instagram. You're going by, this makes me feel good because. Does that make sense?
Yes, and so many good tips. I can already imagine the maybes like in mine. Like
Right.
it's funny, kind of like blue jeans. So I'm a black jean
Ooh.
girl. I love black. Like it's although in the summer I'm very colorful and I explore more. I love flowy, bohemian
Yes. You've
prints. Like
got
I
the
love
bohemian
that
vibe.
summertime vibe. But when it's fall, like I'm black, like all black. Like I have
Yeah.
go-to outfits that I'm like, if you were like, we're going for a drink, I'd be like, boom, boom, boom. These three
Yeah.
things, all black, feel amazing. Okay. And I literally wear it every single time I go
Yeah.
somewhere and I don't care. I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel amazing in it. It
You look
feels good.
great.
It fits perfect. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
great. So do this audit, everyone. Do it. Do
Yeah.
it.
Try
So,
it.
Alyssa, obviously, we spoke about your incredible YouTube and so forth, but share where you show up most and how people can get in touch with you.
Yes, show up most on YouTube. So the channel is just my name, Alyssa Beltempo. You can also find me on Instagram, Miss MS Beltempo, all one word. And on my website, Ms. Beltempo, also MSBELTMPO. And there you'll find all kinds of stuff, just links to my channel, links to the membership community if you're interested in like, being connected and seeing how other people and getting inspired by, I learn every day from that group. So they're amazing.
Amazing. So all of your links will be in the show notes. Alyssa, this has
Yes.
been incredible. Like
Oh
so
my God,
fun.
I'm
I
so
was
glad we
looking
got
forward
to
to
chat.
when I like looked at my calendar this week, I was like, oh my God, it's finally here. Like it's actually happening. And so listeners, so grateful for you listening. And Alyssa, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.